from each side. Oh my goodness gracious. There we go. Next step, or the last step. Yes. Divide y by 11. Yes. That is it here. And that is y equals negative 7 over 11x plus 2. So if it helps, you can always circle y the whole time through so that you remember you're solving for y. Sometimes that helps. Turn to page 16 in your notes. You got to do numbers 1 and 2. The first one, you had y equals negative 2x plus 4. I chose negative 1, 0, 1, 2. You can tell me the y values for those. Jackie. 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Anybody need help doing those values? That was on your test. So negative 2, 8. It's going to be off the board, but that's okay. Somewhere up there. Over there. Negative 1, 6. Negative 1, 6. 0, 4, 1, 2, 2, 0. Whoops. Okay. Should look almost like that, except yours goes through all your dots. Because you guys are better artists than me. And number 2, find the intercepts. We're still using y equals negative 2x plus 4. So this is just another way to graph that we learned instead of using a table. So what are the 2 intercepts? Amberly. Right, 2, 0, 0, 4. So I have 2, 0, 0, 4. There we go. And a line through those 2 dots. You get the same exact lines, just 2 different ways to graph it. So, you guys should be really excited. Yes.
Did you get the
2L. Okay, so if I plug in 0 for y, 0 equals negative 2x plus 4. First thing I want to do is get to the x to the other side, so what will I do first? Add 2x. And then 2x equals 4. X equals 2. Okay? Any more questions on that? You guys did well in test. I only have one more page to grade. Today we're learning a third way to graph. And it's so much easier. You're going to love it. There's no tables or anything. So this is good. Okay, so we're graphing linear equations from slope-intercept form. No, you do not need a calculator. That's why this is a calculator on the board, and the calculators weren't out at the beginning of class. I guess took them out anyway. So lesson 8.5, we're going to the next page, page 17. So slope-intercept form is what we're learning today. Y equals mx plus b. You've seen equations in this form before. So does anybody have any idea what is that m going to be? Shane. Right, slope. So this m is slope. I don't know. That's a good question. What's another word for slope? We learned a bunch of different things, Ben. What about if we were graphing? We start with R's. No. Yeah. Right, that's another one. Rise over run, and then there's one more. It's 3 words together. This is the hardest one, I think. Doesn't really remember. Grace. Yeah, that's how we could find rise. We found y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's also something we learned. True. Y equals 4. That's a type of equation. Form. Y equals 4. Okay. Slope-intercept form or y equals 4. Yes. I'm looking for, do you guys remember rate of change? You're almost there. Okay. Okay, so what do you think, this is harder, because we haven't gone over it. What do you think that B is going to be? Okay. Well, okay, or where we begin, yes. Whenever we're graphing them. It's going to be where we begin. So, any idea? Yeah. Origin? Nope. Getting closer though. Joseph? Yeah. The y-intercept. So not the x, but the y-intercept. So how you can figure that out? Remember when we're finding y-intercepts, we always sub in 0 for x. Well, no matter what slope is, anything times 0 is just 0. So you get y equals b. That means my ordered pair, if I sub in 0 for x, is what's that y value going to be? If I plug in 0 for x, what's y always going to be if it's in this form? Evan, what do you think? Right, or this number right here, b. Someone over there said it. So this, if I plug in 0 and it's in this form, if I plug in 0 for x, my y-intercept is always going to be b. So the y part's always going to be b. Yes.
Is that
No. No. Okay, so use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the equation y equals negative 2x plus 4. So now we're doing the same one. Y equals negative 2x plus 4. And right under it, I'm going to label y equals mx plus b. So I know which part is in which place. What's my y-intercept going to be? So remember what I just said. 0, 4. Right, 0, 4. So if I plug in 0 for x, I get y equals 4. Or I can just look at b, and I know it's 0, 4. So now my slope. What's my slope going to be? Josh? Right, negative 2 over 1. Remember, that is rise over run. You guys already told me that. Yeah. Negative 2 is right here in the spot for m. So slope is always m. Y-intercept is always b. Does that make sense? Oh, I'm gonna get to that in a second. Anything, any whole number or integer, if you put it over 1, same thing, right? Negative 2 divided by 1 is just negative 2. So this is gonna help when you graph. Okay? So, B stands for, this is where we're gonna begin. So I'm gonna plot 0, 4 over here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, yeah. That's still just 0. If x is 0, remember from your test that if you're given an equation and you wanted to find y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x and find y. Yep. Okay, so negative 2 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 4 is 4, y plus 4 is 0, 4. So you can find this y-intercept just like you always have been finding. Does that make sense? Okay. Nathan else? What do we do next? Awesome. So rise, if it's negative, that means I'm going down. And then my bottom is my run. Remember, that's left or right. And since it's positive, I'm running to the right. So just like what Nathan has told me, from this point, that's where I begin. I'm going down 2. That's negative 2. I'm going over 1. My next point is right there.
It's so cool.
And I can go down 2 again and over 1. And now I have 3 points that I've plotted. When I connect those, I told you guys are going to like it. When you connect those, it looks just like our warm-up, our first 2 graphs. Same thing, but now you didn't need a table. All you needed was y equals mx plus b, the slope-intercept form. Okay, so if this is a negative, so if this was a negative 1, I'd go to the left. So if you think run are all the x values, if it's positive, all the positive values of x are to the right, so I'm going to go right. If I think of going negative on the x-axis, it's that way. So if it's negative on the bottom, I'll go left. What about rise? What if rise was positive instead of negative? Which way would we go first? You left? Right, you go up. So the very next one, y equals 1/2 x minus 2. I'm going to write y equals mx plus b underneath it again. So I remember what's m and what's b. What is my y-intercept? Two different ways to figure this out. Ray. 0, -2. So you can plug in 0 for x, or you can just see that -2 is b, so that's 0, -2. Y-intercept is always b, that's where we begin. And slope is always m. What's my slope from this? Right, or I'm going to keep it as 1/2. So whenever we were doing things before, we always said keep slope as a fraction, and it will make sense later. This is why it makes more sense, because I don't really want to go up 0.5 and over 1. That's a little messy. If I keep it as 1/2, that means I can go up 1/2, up 1/2, and keep whole blocks. Does that make sense? So keep your slope as a fraction. So this is rise over run. And whoever was just listening, tell me what rise over run is. I sort of just said it. Yeah. Right, and then should I go up for rise? To the right for run. So I start, remember B is for begin, at 0, -2. I go up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. So up 1 to the right 2. How do I get this other point? Does anybody know? I want to get the point on this side. This one. Right, down 1, over 2. So I do the exact opposite. For the opposite point, I do the exact opposite. So I have up and to the right, I go down and to the left 2. And that's how I get my opposite point. And that's my line. Okay, the slope is always m, or it's always in the m spot, y equals 4. So this m, or right in front of x, is 1/2. So I can just take that m, put it down here, and slope is 1/2. Yep. Slope is always m. So if it's in y equals mx plus b form, or in this case it's y equals 1/2 x minus 2, y-intercept is 0, -2, slope is just the number in front of x, and that's 1/2. So what happens if it's not in slope-intercept form? 3x plus y equals 2. What do you guys know about this and how we can get it into slope-intercept form? If you need the 2 over, then you have 3x plus y minus 2 equals 0. Okay, you could do it that way, or you could just do one step. It'd be really easy. I would go. Yeah. How would I do that? So I can just subtract 3x. This is your warm-up. So you already know how to do this. You're solving for y. So y equals -3x plus 2. Anything else? Yes. Right. Yeah, so we were preparing you for this by saying always put the x first and then the number second. That's so that you guys were already doing slope-intercept form, you just didn't know. So this is y equals mx plus b. If I write right underneath it, so I know what m and b are. What is my y-intercept? Joseph? 0. And that's b, you remember. And slope. What is my slope? Greta? Right, -3. Remember, I need rise over run, so I'm going to put -3 over 1. That's rise over run. So what am I going to have to do this time? -3 over +1, right? Down 3 into the right 1. So remember, b is where you begin. So always plot b. 0, 2. Down 3, 1, 2, 3. To the right 1. Down 3, 1, 2, 3. To the right 1. How do I get the opposite point? So over here. Alexis. Right, up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left one. I'm doing the exact opposite. So up 3, to the left 1. When I connect all of those, my line should look like that. So try number 4 on your own. Remember, solving for y or y equals. You guys know how to do that. Yes, yeah. You gonna tell me my slope intercept form? Okay, go ahead.
Y equals x minus 4.
Good job. Y equals x minus 4. So let's do that actually together. What would I do first if I'm trying to solve for y? Josh.
Subtract 3x.
Okay, subtract 3x. I get negative 3y equals negative 3x plus 12. The most common thing was when you rewrote 3y, you forgot there's a negative in front of it. So make sure you bring the whole thing over. Now what do I do? Still trying to solve for y. Then what do I do?
You distribute the negative 3.
No, this is negative 3 times y, so it's opposite of multiplying. Right, so I want to divide everything by negative 3. Okay, so then y equals negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. So positive 1x. 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Y equals x minus 4. Okay, so what is my y-intercept? If this is my slope-intercept form, right? Right. 0, negative 4. Remember that's your b, and slope. What is my slope? Right, 1 over 1. So it's just 1. I'm going to write it as 1 over 1. It's the same thing. That's my rise over my run. And what does that mean? Should I go up, down? Should I go left, right? Emily? Right, up 1 to the right 1. B is where I begin. 0, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go up 1 to the right 1. Up 1 to the right 1. How do I get the opposite? Camila? The point over here. Right, down 1 and to the left 1. So the exact opposite of what I just wrote. Any questions on number 4? Alright, so you guys had graph paper on your desk when you came in. We are going to do extra problems, so write on the graph, on one of the graphs, number 5, and write y equals 1/3 x. And put a spot for y-intercept, so write out y-intercept, and write out slope. So y-intercept equals slope equals. Do you need a paper? Instead of writing it out short. So does everybody have that labeled? Yes. Number 5. So you can keep it with your notes and know where we are. Okay. So y equals mx plus b. This is a little tricky one. We haven't seen it before. What's my y-intercept? Anything else? Right, 0. There is a plus 0 here. So 0, comma 0. Remember, y-intercept is b. And my slope. What is my slope? True? Right, 1/3. That's my rise over my run. So what does that mean I'm going to do whenever I'm graphing? If it's positive 1/3. Joseph? Right, up 1 to the right 3. So I'm going to start. B is where I begin, so that's 0, 0. And I'm going up 1 to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 1 to the right 3. How would I get the opposite point? On the right?
Down 1 to the left.
Down 1 and to the left 3.
Chris Matian, please dial extension 1452. Chris
And that
Matian,
is
please
what
dial extension
my line looks
1452.
like.
Thank you.
Any questions on that one? Okay, x equals 4. This is a little different. You guys know how to graph this from a table. What kind of line is this going to be? Right, it's going to be vertical, and it's going to be going through 4. Is there going to be a y-intercept? No. And what is my slope? Vertical line through 4. You just told me. This is on the test, Jackie. Right. My slope is undefined. So you still know how to graph those types of equations. Okay, number 7, y equals -3. So this is also a little trickier. What's my y-intercept? Kevin?
-3.
Right, 0, -3. 0, -3, right there. Is this a horizontal line or is it a vertical line? Grace? Horizontal. And what is my slope if it is a horizontal line? Sure. Right, it's 0. So you can, this is still y equals form. Y equals mx plus b. They just have b, they just have -3. And if you plug in 0 for slope, you get y equals -3. So it's still in that form. And y equals 0, number 8. What is my y-intercept? Y equals 0, Shane? Right, 0, 0. Is this a horizontal line or is this a vertical line? Ben?
Horizontal.
Right, horizontal. So it's going right along that axis, and my slope is anything else?
0.
Yes, 0. What's that line called? Y equals 0. What's that line called? Usually, yeah.
Straight.
This is straight line, but what's this actually called, Greta?
X-axis.
Right. So that's the x-axis. Y equals 0. So it goes right through. It goes right along the x-axis. No?
Wait, so x equals 0 would be along the y-axis?
X equals 0 would be this vertical line right here, and that would be the y-axis. That's right. Good job. Any questions on this? Okay, so I have this nifty thing on this smartboard. So you guys just learned about slope and you learned about y-intercept. I have, this is actually, they did something fancy, that's just y equals. I have y equals x right here. So my y-intercept is 0, 0. I have a plotter right there. And my slope is 1 over 1, so they have me going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So if my m, right now it's 1, if I increased it, what do you think will happen to the graph? Kevin?
It will change.
Right, but how will it change?
Oh.
It will change, that's right. Joseph, what do you think? Steeper. Who else thinks it's going to be steeper?
I think Joseph is wrong.
Does anybody think it's going to be not as steep? Okay, moment of truth.
OMG.
So it gets steeper. Why is that? Why does it get steeper? Why? I know n, or slope, is rise over run. Nathan F. Right, so if I'm going up 4 and over 1, that is steeper than if I just go up 1 over 1. All right, so what about B? What's going to happen? I'll go back to 0, or to 1. What's going to happen if I increase or decrease B? How is that going to change? Move. What will happen if I increase B? Yeah. It'll move down if I increase B. Is that what you just said? Okay, someone else tell me what they think about B. You think it will go up? Steve, what do you think?
The point's gonna change.
Mike, tell me what you think. Which point are you talking about? This one? The red one? Move. If I increase B, where will it move? Okay, what if I decrease B? Jackson, what do you think? No. If it's B and I'm decreasing it, B is the y-intercept. So if I decrease it, where is it going to go? Gia, what do you think? Okay. So if I increase B, it's the same graph. I'm just going up, so it's shifting up. This is moving to 0, 5 instead of 0, 0. If I go down, you guys don't know what will happen if it goes all the way down.
Keep going. Keep going. After like 70. Keep going.
You're not going to be able to see it. That's not very interesting.
Just keep going. What after like 70?
Whoa, that's so cool. It disappeared.
Make it spin.
There you go.
What after like 70?
Whoa.
Make it spin. What after like 70?
70? That's okay. I think you got the idea.
Make it fly, please.
It doesn't let me.
This way, girl, you messed it up.
Make it go higher.
It doesn't let me.
Sorry.
Not my fault. Now it wanted me to go back up. You guys broke it. That wasn't me.
You broke it.
Wasn't me. Okay, so now, in your notes on page 19, you have this nice big blank spot. We are going to do a new word problem.
Yay!
I like that, yay. Okay, you belong to a fitness club.
Wait, we're not going to do the one on the paper.
No, we'll do that one too, but we're doing this one first.
Dang it.
So you belong to a fitness club. The membership fee is $30 per month. If you are a member, water aerobics classes are $3 per session. So what is an equation that gives the total monthly fitness club cost as a function of the number of water aerobic sessions you attend per month? So first, someone tell me what X should be and what Y should be. Mike?
Y should be the monthly payment.
Okay, so the cost of the monthly payment, or 1 month, they just want us to find 1 month, so. And what should X be? Josh? Alright, so the number of aerobics classes. Is that where we're going to? Water aerobics. So now that we know that, who can tell me what my equation will be? Grace?
Y equals 3 plus 3x.
Awesome. 30 plus 3x, I'm going to write it in mx plus b form, so y equals 3x plus 30. Grace, how did you get that 30 and how did you get that 3?
Want to pay the $30 for the membership fee, and then we don't know how many water aerobics classes we have, so that would be X. And this amount would be the bottom.
Awesome, good job. So each water aerobics class is $3 each. We don't know how many that we're going to go to, so that's X. And we have to pay the flat fee of $30. Mike, did you have a question? No, never mind. Okay. So find the maximum number of sessions you can attend per month and not exceed your $60 monthly fitness budget. Drew.
10 sessions.
Okay, but how did you get that? Tell me what you did.
I subtracted 30 from 60.
So what did you plug in 60 for in this equation?
Why?
Right, so 60 equals 3x plus 30. It's just slow. So, when you guys solve, this time you're solving for x. So everybody solve for x. That's okay. David? Right. So, it is approximately 10. So what does that 10 mean, though? If x is 10. Greta? Right, so I can go to 10 water aerobics classes and meet my monthly budget of $60, and I can't go to any more. I can go to less, and then I just spend less than $60. But that's the maximum number I can go to. Does anybody have any questions on that? Has anyone ever tried water aerobics?
Is it that thing where you dance in the water?
Yeah. Mike knew what it was. Mike, have you done it before?
No.
No? Are you sure? You know what it was. I think, isn't that an Olympic sport now? I think it is. Synchronized swimming. Maybe not water aerobics. Are you done?
Water aerobics, no.
I just don't want to the wonderful world of water. What will you come up with next?
Okay, I want you guys to look at the word problem on your paper. At the top it says a violin teacher charges a one-time sheet music fee of $20 for adults, but no fee for children. The charge per hour is $20 for both children and adults. So they give you, instead of using y and x, they say the cost of C for children for n lessons is given by C equals 20n. That's the same thing as saying y equals 20x. They're just using C and n. So for adults, I want you to figure out, you can use y and x if you don't like C and n. Figure out what the adult equation would be. So figure out what they have to pay. No, just FOR adults, for adults, not actual for. Hold on one second. Once you have done that, graph both equations on the same coordinate plane.
And be careful with your scale. And if
Yep.
you guys didn't like this yesterday on the test.
You're going to have to scale by 2. Or 5. You can just shorten the sentences if you want to. You don't have to copy this. You just for which part? For B? Kevin, what's my adult equation?
Okay, C equals 20n plus 20.
Okay, so you could have C equals 20n plus 20. I'm going to use y. Yes! 20x plus 20. So you have to graph both. So if I graph y equals,
Uh-oh. Miss Wingrove, you messed it up again.
not my fault, it's all you guys. Y equals 20x, that's my very first one. What is B, or what's my y-intercept? What's their slope? Y equals 20x, so this is for the kids. David? Oh, you're doing the adults. I'm doing the children one first. Right, 0, 0. And my slope, or m, Kevin?
20 over 1.
Right, 20 over 1. I'm going to do it by 2, so 2 plus. So I start at 0, 0. And I go up 20 over 1, which is really tight, but it's like that. My next one, y equals 20x is the adults, plus 20. What is my y-intercept? Drew.
0, 20.
Yes, 0, 20. And what is n? For y equals 20x plus 20, what's n? Kevin.
20 over 1.
Yes, 20 over 1. So I start at 0, 20, and I have to go up 20 and 1. It'll be up here somewhere. That should be straight. So, not from my picture, but from your picture, definitely. What kind of lines are those? Can you graph them both in the same? Got it? This should go like this. Forget? So anyway, Josh? Double line, what are they called that starts with P? Steve, you know? Oh no. Drew? No. You parabolas are used, you remember that. Shane. Yes, parallel lines. They're parallel lines. How can you figure that out from just looking at those two equations? If I have y equals 20x and y equals 20x plus 20, how can I figure that out? Jackie? Their slopes are the same, but what about b? Their slopes are the same. Okay. Right, so the slopes are the same, but b is different. So based on this, what is the difference of the costs? If I have the same slope, but I have a different y-intercept, relate that to this scenario for me, Steve. Yes. Zero, and then my 20 is like right on that corner right there. And this is a point for kids. I went up 20 and over 1. I tried to go over 1. So my adult line is the blue one. Okay. So based on the graphs, what's the difference in the cost? Same slope, a different y-intercept. So relate that back to what this means in this scenario. Kevin? 20 what? What does that mean? In this scenario, $20. Okay, what about $20? The difference is $20. You're right.
Oh, yay.
Abigail? Right, so the adults pay a $20 fee, one-time fee, right? So what they owe, or what they have to pay, is $20 more than the children. But each lesson costs the same. So they have the same fee for each lesson, but they have to pay a one-time fee of $20. It's the only difference. And that makes our lines parallel, and all they have are different B's or y-intercepts like you guys were telling me before. Any questions? Now, see, did you guys like this? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs down. No more tables. Okay. So your homework is practice 8.5, numbers 1 through 13, and number 20. So if you look at practice 8-5, the first 6 you are identifying slope and y-intercept. You guys know y equals mx plus b. 7 through 9, you're matching the equation with the graph. 10, 11, 12, 13. Make sure you identify, just like we did in class, slope equals y-intercept equals, and then you're using slope to graph and y-intercept to graph. So I want to see those labels next to those graphs. And number 20 is a word problem you guys should really good at because we did this too in class. So, any questions on your homework? Make sure you have it written down. Today is Wednesday. Girls are first.
Well, don't pack up yet. 2 things real quick. I'm going to tell you. Tuesday next week, elementary has conferences. So since elementary has off, you do not come to accelerated math. Okay? Now hold on. Swinger and I will be here. If you really miss us, come on in. But you do not have class. If elementary is off, you're not required to come here. So next week, which is your spring break, you have off Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Junior high and senior high is different. So I'll say it one more time and I'll post it on Blackboard. No school, accelerated math for you next week, Monday or Tuesday. Also, your test grades, Ms. Wingrove will put into the grade book at some point later today. If you'd like to check, we're hoping to pass those back tomorrow. Okay. But you're
Maybe we'll give you an accelerated lesson.
Elementary does not have school. But we will be here doing some work. We're doing math.
Couldn't you get on the bus that you usually get on?
Not at 8:25. Buses are not coming at 8:25 on Tuesday. You can get here but not go
I
home.
could walk home.
So you'd be sad. And Ms. Mungo and I are not tracking you.
We can play fun math games.
Alright, back to Ms. Mungo.
Alright, so just make sure you have this copy down. Girls are first. Get packed up.
Good job today.